Hi and welcome. Sorry about that delay. The cynical of you will suggest that I wanted to watch England win the Test match, so I just thought I'd delay half an hour, but that's not the case. No, updates required, and they were done, but it's funny, they do some strange updates sometimes, and Helen will have to locate where that is somewhere, but she's managed to revert to an older version, which is fantastic, so well done her. But we knew it was going to take a little bit longer than just 5 or 6 minutes, hence it made sense to delay a more defined amount. So sad times, of course, and we talked about them on Friday and had a minute's silence. We won't be live next Monday. We will not be live next Monday. You know, and obviously according to the Queen's funeral, and I think she will be quite close to us when she's laid to rest in Windsor. So we might see if we can't go as a family towards the procession there. So let's focus on what we're doing here then. Preemptember, of course. I want your examples today. Last week and this week I've got a couple of things I'm going to cover, but then from then on I'm going to try and use examples because again we're not live next week, so we won't have so much chance. But please do send in them in your examples in. I want you to preempt as much as possible, and obviously what we're discussing is defending against them, but you always get both tables. I've had some interesting ones sent in already, some of which are slightly more exotic than others. Your sort of 7-6 hands and things like that are less easy to talk about constructively, but interesting all the same. Obviously, you saw lots of holidays going through there, etc. And we have got the new one, which we were planning to launch. And that's obviously, I'll try and find it on here. It's called Bridge Amongst the Trees. It's down in Cornwall, at Lanhydrock Hotel. Not quite as deep in Cornwall. It's close to Bodmin. So it's almost an hour closer to us, but that's quite exciting. I think we're going to get a number of tours. You got a choice of I think two tours are included at least, including I think the Eden project, and also a variety of others. We are not going to be playing outside though, definitely not playing outside, but it should be some fun, I hope. And of course all the various cruises and holidays. Don't forget you can see them on B&B Holidays. It's exciting times because we can get back to it. I'm going to Croatia next year, one of my favourite places to go in May. That's Rovin. I'm going to be there for a week, but it's a 2-week holiday, so please do join us there. And then cruises to Germany in April. And I'm also going to the fjords with my family in August. That's on the Balmoral, Alfie's favourite ship. It's the only one he really knows, but you know, but hopefully we'll have some fun there. So that's in August, going to the fjords. So please do look at that. Okay. Now let me just see what we're doing. What I'm doing here is I am going to go here. Am I? I thought I'd set this hand. Oh, I thought I'd chosen the hand. It might have disappeared, so bear with me. I'm hoping it's there. No, I had this set up, so someone's been fiddling with this computer. You're not looking at that hand. Oh dear. I'll tell you what, let me go back here. You're not supposed to have seen it. Bear with me. As I say, obviously when the reset was done, things were turned on and off, so I had everything neatly set. So let's go back here. There we go. So this is what we call the counting hand. Okay, this is the counting hand, and so let's see. So we'll look at this after we've done. So don't forget on Fridays we are counting, really a fantastic topic. It's a fantastic topic, but obviously we're going from the whole range of some simple counting to quite difficult and complex counting. So we're in the west seat here. We're going to see an auction. So it goes 1 heart. We're going to pass that, of course. 2 diamonds by north. 2 hearts by south. And then 4 hearts by north. And that's your auction. And what we're trying to do with this auction is when we make a lead, we're going to see dummy. And what we try to do is assess how many points we think partner might have. Okay, and this is an interesting one because I think south has quite a range here, and we've got to try and put our partner in that range. Okay, so if I was leading against this hand, I think I'd lead a trump here. I don't want to lead away from those kings, and I don't like leading doubletons in the opponent's bid suit because you'll often help them set it up. So I'm going to lead a trump. Okay. And when we see dummy, that's when we stop and we assess. We look at our hand, we look at dummy. And if we add the points in those 2 hands and we then add declarer's points, we can find out how many partners got. So I want a range of points where you would put your partner. Okay, a range of points where you would put your partner. Okay. Okay, so I'll leave you with that one, and we will come back to that in a moment. So have a little think about that, okay, and we will see. So let's go to the PowerPoint, and here we are, and we'll go through the normal thing to start with, and so definition of a preempt, of course, is a hand with very few points, but importantly, our favourite preempts are hands that do not make many tricks against the opponent's contract. So King, Queen, Jack, 10 to 7 is my favourite. It's my favourite preempting hand. Very often you'll make no tricks at all against any other contract other than your own. And so bearing that in mind, that's why we like to try and bid aggressively. As we discussed last week, we don't like preempt. And I'll let you go back to last week to see that. But the idea is I'm going to have decent hands for coming in, but I am going to try and come in more often than not. We're reminding us of our system. Generally, 99% of us play takeout doubles. It works as long as you play it well, and we'll see part of that today. Overcalls will be overcalling, but what do they mean? And judging that, because of course overcalling over 3 spades is no mean over. It's a 4-level overcall. So 3 no trump overcall, really important part of your system. It's a natural bid, and again it'll end up having an element of gambling to it. You know, with 18 or 19 points and a stopper, you're probably going to need to do that. Of course, if your partner has a yarber, it won't be fun. And the Q bid is quite an important bid as well, where it goes 3 hearts, 4 hearts, a bit of the opponent's suit partner. I'm strong and excited. I've got 2 long suits here. I want to play a game in one of them. I'm excited. Okay. However, what we're focusing on today is the raise of the preempt. Okay. 3 hearts pass 4 hearts, your bid. 3 clubs pass 4 clubs, your bid. What do we do? Okay. We've been talking about over 4 spades. We'll see that here in a moment. We're going to see the auction go 3 spades past 4 spades, and we've got to discuss what the double means. But what's really important here is there is a big difference between 3 clubs pass 4 clubs and 3 hearts pass 4 hearts. Because nobody in their right mind is going to raise to 4 clubs with a strong hand. Why would you push yourselves up? But 3 hearts pass 4 hearts, the partner of the 3 heart bidder could have a very good hand and just wants to play and game. What do you bid with 18 points? Obviously your partner's preempt. You raise to game. So when it goes 3 hearts past 4 hearts and it's your bid, you cannot be sure that the responder to the preempt is weak. Whereas when it goes 3 clubs past 4 clubs, you can be. Can you see that? So that difference is important. So if it goes 3 clubs past 4 clubs, I'm still coming in aggressively. Okay. So when they bid game in the major, it's difficult to judge, and we will get into troubles because I like still being competitive. But if it goes 3 hearts past 4 hearts and I double with my 14 points and it turns out my partner's got a Yarborough, we're going to obviously get into a lot of trouble. But that is why we preempt. We preempt because it makes our opponent's life a nightmare. Okay, so let's look at that. Okay, so here, it doesn't have to be very weak, James, but it's a very, very strange bid. 4 clubs is not, 3 clubs past 4 clubs is not invitational. It's not invitational, so your partner will never raise 4 clubs to game. Okay, now you can be trying to double bluff or bluff your opponents, but 3 clubs past 4 clubs doesn't look sensible to me unless you're trying to make it more difficult for your opponents to preempt. Okay. Okay, so here, 3 clubs past 4 clubs. Let's have a look. And it's your bid. Okay, so it goes 3 clubs past 4 clubs. It's your bid, and I think you've got to bid here. Okay, don't get me wrong, you're forcing your partner to bid at the 4 level. But you've got a 6 loser hand, and you feel that most of the time, South is trying to keep you out of the auction, and often it will work against a lot of players. But what we're going to do is double to say, partner, look, we've got to be in this auction. Okay, and don't forget, I mean, if 4 clubs happens to scrape home, going off can be a decent score as well. Okay, so here, there's your partner's hand. North passes, and your partner's, you know, you haven't got a huge amount of strength, but of course, when they've got, generally when the bidding goes 3 clubs, 4 clubs, they've got at least a 10 card club fit. And if they have, you're going to have a big fit somewhere, if not more. I mean, here you've got obviously a big spade fit, but you've also got partial fits in diamonds and hearts. And as you can see, the contract's going to be a fine contract. You're going to make 10 or 11 tricks, depending on probably the diamond break, really. I think you're going to lose the ace of spades, a club, and possibly a heart as well. Okay, but it would be easy to be kept out of that auction. I put love all in the top. I mean, I suppose when it goes 5 clubs, that's tough. When it goes 5 clubs, that's really tough. 3 clubs, 5 clubs. I mean, you've got to decide what a double means. So when they raise to game, it's really tricky. I have to say, though, 3 clubs, 5 clubs is more commonly preemptive, because often, obviously, strong hands will try 3 no trumps. So, you know, even 3 clubs, 5 clubs, you feel more suggestive of weak hands. But again, do you play double as takeout over 3 clubs, 5 clubs? It's tricky, isn't it? Because if you've got 18 points balance, you want to double. So it is very, very tricky. So let's just change it. So here, obviously, we finish in 4 spades. Let's change the hand. 3 spades pass 4 spades. What do you bid now? That is tricky, isn't it? Because clearly it might be correct to bid. But it also might be the fact that South is bidding 4 spades to make and has 16 or 17 points in his hand. So it's really, really tricky to judge. Okay, and for the most part, what you've got to ask yourself as a partnership also, what does the double mean? Okay, what does double mean? And that again is tricky. If you've got a very distributional hand, you can always use a 4 no trump bid in this auction as takeout. And that's quite important. So you do, if you had, I don't know, a void in spades and lots of distribution, you know, clearly with a void you have it, and maybe I don't know, ace king to 5, queen jack to 4, queen jack to 4, you're going to feel you want to be in a contract. So maybe 4 no trumps, partner, bid something, please. Okay, but as someone suggesting there, double is generally, for most of us, partner, look, I've got lots of points here, surely this is going down. Again, if your partner's got a huge amount of distribution, partner can still choose to bid, but really tricky. So I'm going to pass there. You know, Because you've got to bear in mind, if your partner, even if it is for takeout, your partner's bidding at the 5 level here, and you've got good defence. Now, 4 spades may well make sometimes, but if you look at this hand, I think South is bidding it to make. So I'm thinking, I mean, you know, here it's 20-20 the points. Maybe North has opened a pretty weak preempt and South has got a decent enough hand and has gone for it. If the diamonds break 4-1, I think they might make, or they'll have a chance of making. But more commonly, I think they're going to go 1 off. But you certainly don't want to be in a contract of your own there. But it's difficult to judge, isn't it? Okay, so you leave 4 spades and you're just hoping it goes off. Okay. So that is bidding over the raise, and it is tricky, I have to say, and it's why we do it. Now, what you've got to remember is every time you have to choose what to do over a raise, think about how difficult it is, and then put yourself in the partner of the preempt seat and think, do you know, if I'm tempted to raise this, I'm going to raise it because I know how difficult it makes it for the opponents. Okay, vulnerability is going to make a huge difference, so don't forget that. Now, what about last to bid? Well, I'm going to be honest, if I'm short in their suit, I really love to be bidding here. I really love to be bidding. How weak? Well, we say borrow the king. Sometimes I like to even borrow a little bit more. And again, that will be your partnership tactics or even your personal preferences. But I feel that if I'm short, so if I've got a singleton in their suit or a void, I really like to reopen because I know my partner will have struggled. If I've got a singleton or void, partner's probably got 2 or 3 cards, particularly when partner's got 3 cards in their suit. What can your partner bid? Give your partner 16 points. What can he bid with 3 cards in the opponent's suit? He is stuck. So your partner could have really strong hands in these auctions. Okay, you know, I mean, he can have 14 points and 4 cards in their suit. Nothing he can bid. Okay, with 17, perhaps he can bid 3 no trumps with a stopper. You know, but with a flat hand in the 17, you're still very much stuck. Imagine you've got a 4-3-3-3 hand with 3 cards in the preemptive bid and you've got 17 points. Do you really want to bid? Particularly if you haven't, let's say it's a 4-card club suit or something. It's horrible. So let's have a look. 3 clubs from North, pass, and it's love all. So it goes 3 clubs from North, pass, and it's your bid. Now, you think you've got to bear in mind in here is that if we're going to bid more and try hard, we are going to get some bad results. Okay, now, when you play live, also online to some extent, if South thinks for a long time here and passes, I'm placing South with a reasonable hand. And I may then think to myself, well, the chances are South is thinking of bidding something, maybe I won't come in. And you're allowed to use that. You can't, if partner pauses for a long time, that's a different matter. You're not allowed to know that. But if your opponent pauses for a long time, you know, the chances are he's sitting there with 13 or 14 points and thinking, shall I gamble or not? He decides to not to. At which point I may be thinking to myself, I don't really need to struggle so hard to get in the auction. But assuming an auction in tempo where the auction goes 3 clubs, pass, I want to make a bid with this hand. I want to come in because a lot of the time here 3 clubs is making. So if I go 1 off in a contract, I'm happy enough. Okay, 3 clubs might make with an overture. Well, might make exactly as 110. So if I go 2 off, that's a gain. Remember, it's not going to be easy, particularly for them to double us in 3 diamonds or 3 hearts or 3 spades. So competing for the hand seems to make sense. And a lot of the time, okay, you know, here, absolutely, Brian's saying South might be short in clubs. South is short in clubs here. But of course, on a lot of those occasions, your partner can be sitting with a nice hand as well. And that's the crucial thing. So here you double, and your partner's got the classic hand, 13 points balanced. He can't bid anything, and your double allows your partner to be much happier about his hand. And of course, on this particular hand, he's probably actually going to pass your takeout double, which would make you very nervous indeed, because you are sitting with a weak hand. But of course, your partner's got things covered. Your partner's likely to make 3 club tricks here. So you're going to take 3 clubs, a couple off, maybe 3 off actually. You might even make more than a game here, because you might make a spade trick as well. Ace king of hearts, ace of diamonds, and maybe a spade. And if you do, three trump tricks as well is going to be a rather lovely score. Okay, and that's just a normal hand. It can go wrong, and it will do, but what you've got to decide is, how weak can I be? Now again, notice the difference. If you double for takeout over 3 clubs, your partner can respond at the 3 level. If you're doubling for takeout over 3 spades, you're going to the 4 level. So I would say over the minors, you're relatively happy. Once you're over the majors, be a little bit more careful, but make the decision here. I quite like this 5 count, this 9 count. If I borrow a king, which is what I love to do in this last seat. So remember, when the bidding is going to be passed out, so 3 clubs pass, question mark. When the bidding is going to be passed out, then I say to myself, I'll borrow a king. I know my partner might have some strength. I'll borrow a king and go for it. As was pointed out there by James, it is difficult. If East pauses for a long time here, thinking, I want to do a penalty double, I don't know what to do. Well, that slightly compromises us. Okay, that slightly compromises us, doesn't it? Okay. Because if we're borderline, we probably have to pass. You know, and it's no good saying, oh, well, I've always doubled on it. The problem is what, whenever our partner hesitates for a long time, suggesting points, we're not allowed to know that. And we therefore have to lean over backwards not to do anything. If I had another point here, I'd feel it was a clear-cut double. For me, 10 points and a singleton, I'm always doubling. 9 points is borderline. 8 is very borderline. I still quite like doing it, but that's me, because I want to have some fun on the hand. Okay. This is the same hand though, isn't it? Let's see how it goes. 3 spades, pass again. Now you've got that same decision to do. And I think this would be quite tight if I change the clubs and the hearts. If I change the clubs and the hearts, I'm quite tempted. But here, when the default response of your partner is going to be 4 hearts, it doesn't. Now, you've got to remember, your partner, I can give your partner the same hand as last time. So if partner's got the same hand as last time, i.e. ace jack 10 to 4 spades, we'd love to be in 3 spades doubled, because we're going to take it 2 or 3 off. But we can't have everything. And here, if my partner hasn't got good trumps, he has to bid at the 4 level in response. And a lot of the time it's going to be 20-20, 3 spades might wander 1 off, and if we bid to the 4 level, we're going to be going off as well. So I would feel, if I had 4 hearts here, I would be tempted. I would be tempted, but with only 3 hearts, and not just only 3 hearts, 3 to the 10, I think pass is the more sensible option. And I've actually given your partner a similar hand to the last one. So you've got a club fit, you've got a double fit, you've got diamonds and clubs, but you're bidding to the 4 level. You're bidding to the 4 level. So here, I think, I mean, you know, it's not going to be a disaster, 4 clubs. You know, clearly it's going off and it's likely to go 2 off, but if you don't get doubled, you may get away with things. I think 3 spades is often going to make here. So, you know, 4 clubs, I mean, let's have a look. I mean, if they keep leading trumps, well, you can establish a diamond, so you're likely to lose 2 hearts, 2 diamonds and a spade here. You go 2 off, and I think if you're not doubled, that's a good score. Okay, it turns out, of course, South might be quite strong, But if you're not doubled, 4 clubs -2 might be a good score. So you can see, even here with me giving your partner a nasty hand, a lot of the time you might scrape it. But what you do have to remember is that you will more often than not get some bad breaks. Because you've got 7 spades in one hand, there being a singleton diamond in one hand, for example, or singleton club, I mean a heart's less likely, but if North has got a singleton, it's not going to make the hand easy to play, is it? Because if it's a singleton diamond, that's not going to be nice. And if it's a singleton club, the trumps are breaking 4-1. So I think probably you should be happy enough passing this one out. Okay. So those are the 2 things that we've talked about today. Crucial elements really of preemptive bidding when the opponents raise. And of course, that is exactly the same as when you are opposite a weak 2. Okay, so a weak 2 hearts, okay, 3 hearts. So 2 hearts past 3 hearts, how are we coming in? Okay, and again, I want you to be aggressive over that. In fact, it really, 2 hearts past 3 hearts, you should be coming in just in the same way as you would over a preempt, over a weak 3, because that's really what it is. Okay, and particularly because they've got strong bids available, these 2 no trump bid opposite a weak 2. 2 hearts past 3 hearts, treat it as if it's a preempt. Now, you could find that your opponents play, I don't know, invitational raises, but that's very rare. Okay, 2 hearts past 3 hearts should be just a preemptive bid, and we need to be aggressive when we come in over. Good hands, but aggressive, as it were. Okay. If you've got 2 spades past 4 spades or a 4 spade opening bid, again, you've got to decide. Remember that if you have a 4 spade opening bid, you always have a 4 no trump bid available as takeout. So a lot of people are playing the double more as a very strong hand. Partner, it's not the end of the world if you take out, but I've got a lot of points here, I need to do something. Whereas if you've got a hand which is more like the hand I mentioned with the void and 5-4-4-4 or something like that, that's too many suits, but you know what I mean, where you definitely want to be in a suit, you would bid 4 no trumps. Okay, so most players regard doubles of 4 spades and above as more penalty orientated, and a lot of players actually choose 4 hearts and above, the idea being that it's game and above. Which isn't a bad policy. So game bids and above, we play the double as more penalty orientated. Anything below game, so that's 4 clubs and 4 diamonds, is still takeout. So it's up to you over 4 hearts, and that is a fine line, because yes, you do have the option of playing in 4 spades. Okay. But you know, it is important. So generally, if in doubt, if you make a takeout double of a major, you would expect to have the other major, and if you are therefore borderline, you do that. You would lean against doing it. Okay, so let's go back to this hand. So 1 heart, 2 diamonds from north, 1 heart from south, 2 diamonds from north, just 2 hearts from south, then 4 hearts from north. And so in many ways, all we're doing here is asking ourselves, what is the range of South's bidding? What is the range of South's bidding? And that is what you've got to say to yourself. You then add that to your points that you can see. Well, we can see 19 points. We can see 19 points. Okay, I'm assuming everybody's happy with that. So what is the range of South's bidding? Well, first of all, everybody's non-vulnerable. Everybody is non-vulnerable. So what's important to bear in mind is think about how many trumps that declarer has, that South has, because that's going to make a lot of difference. So let's say we discover that South has, we know he's got 5, but let's say we discover he's got 6. Okay, what strength do you think he can be? Now, I think this is going to depend on his quality of suit. I would have thought you are actually going to see your partner play the Jack of Hearts on this hand, I'll tell you that. And suddenly I would feel with king, queen to 6, king, queen, 10 to 6, most people with that kind of hand, you need to know what weak twos they play. Because if they play 6 to 10, which is standard, relatively standard, then you would feel that with 10 points, South would have opened a weak two. So, but I'm hoping everybody is very happy that South could certainly have 11 points. And that's important because a lot of people say, okay, 12 points there, 13 is 50, 25, sorry, 25, 31, East, my partner's got them at most 9 points. Okay, but I would feel that your partners could have 10. 11 is but I would suggest 10s. But of course, what's the maximum South can have? What's the maximum do you think South can have? For me, I would say about 15. I would say about 15. Bear in mind, though, if he turns up with 6 hearts, now bear in mind not everybody knows this, but if he turns up with 6 hearts and 15 points is just about enough to jump to 3 hearts there, because the idea is you want to force to gain. Partner's shown 10 points, don't forget, 1 heart, 2 diamonds. So you'd feel that possibly you would bring it down to maybe 10 to 14, but generally 10 to 15 is reasonable. Remember, we're not sure how many hearts South has yet, because South could easily have just 5 hearts. If he's got 5 hearts and 4 spades, over 1 heart, 2 diamonds, he's forced to rebid 2 hearts, isn't he? He can't afford to make a reverse bid. That would be game forcing. So we're saying, you know, I think not unreasonably 11 to 15 points, possibly 10. Possibly 10. Notice, if he was vulnerable, I would be very much saying definitely not 10. Okay, so what we're saying then is, a number of you I think got this right. I'm saying partner could probably have, you know, I mean, we've said we've got 19 there, 15. I'd say 6 to 10 would be my estimate. It doesn't make a huge difference on this hand, but it's a great I mean, let's open up the hands here. Your partner has got 10 count. We'll just let it play through. But knowing what you expect your partner to have, we'll see what de Clau does and let it play through a little bit. Yeah, Joey, so, I mean, the idea is if you've got if South had a 15 count here with a good heart suit, and we're going to see, as soon as the partner discards on this heart, okay, so when you see that discard, that means de Clau has 6 hearts. And that changes a lot. Because suddenly I pause to myself and think, okay, de Clau's got 6 hearts. Would he have opened a weak 2 with 10 points? I've got to think about. Now, if you know your opponent's style, that helps. But for me, generally playing, if you've got 6 hearts and your partner's shown you 10 points, you would feel with 15 you'd want to be in game. 2 hearts is non-forcing. 1 heart, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts in traditional ACL or standard ACL. So with 15 points, a 6 card suit and partner having shown 10, you'd probably want to force the auction. So that would slightly change the variance. So I'd be looking at maybe 11 to 14. Okay, but the important thing is knowing that there are 6 hearts there, it is not unreasonable to think that de Clau will have just 11 points there. Okay, and as I say, I think sometimes he'll have 10. Know your opponents. Okay. Sorry, they're playing through the hands. I don't think de Clau is making a great job of this. I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do. What's important here, though, the fundamental part here is that, so let's just pause the play here. Okay. Given the way the diamond suit has gone here, you're going to be pretty sure your partner's got the Queen Jack of diamonds. Okay. So I'm letting you see the hands because these hands are awesomely difficult otherwise. Okay, but that helps us. So de Clau is trying to rough the diamonds good, which is reasonable. Okay. And then he draws the trump. He's not playing on spades, but I think the crucial element here is your partner can have the ace of clubs, because that's going to be crucial when the end of the hand comes. You're going to want to know that you can, because of course here it's imperative. If the defence get this right, de Clare is going to lose 3 club tricks. Okay, because as long as my king kills the queen and de Clare's ace kills the jack, we will make the 10, because de Clare is going to have to play that suit himself. Okay. Okay. So here you could play the king or play low. Either of them would work. Okay. And the reason why am I saying that? Because I know de Clare wouldn't have played this way if he had ace queen. Really important. Now, again, de Clare's can do what's called a Grosvenor, as it were. They play horrendously badly, and then you can't work out what's in their hand. If you play the king of spades here, you've got to be prepared to play another spade. But your partner might have bared his queen of spades here, so I think you should play small just in case. Okay. Your partner then does the right thing. He plays the spade back, and now de Clare is forced to play clubs. The clubs are a frozen suit. And when de Clare plays it, we play low with confidence. Okay. And of course your partner can win it. And once a frozen suit is broken, your partner can lead it. Well, he's got no choice. But the beauty is, of course, because the jack has been killed, we can win our king and play the 10. On the particular hand, as I say, the points are not so important, but we'll go through it a bit more precisely throughout the coming weeks. And obviously, those of you who are watching me on Friday, we are trying to go. We're going to be talking defence for the next 3 or 4 weeks. We will be talking about counting in defence. And I know we all know how difficult that is. De Clare really here, trump leads a brilliant lead, but de Clare should just play clubs straight away, because if de Clare plays clubs straight away, I think de Clare can get their club ruff, and that's what they need to make 4 hearts. Okay, but of course the trump lead makes it more difficult for them. So that is that on that. Let's just have a quick look at the bidding quiz for you. Thanks for your patience this morning. Sorry about the troubles there. Here is another convoluted auction. So 1 no trump from South. You chose to make a penalty double. I hope you're happy with that. So you made a penalty double of 1 no trump. And then North bid 2 clubs, which is alerted. 2 clubs was alerted as a transfer to diamonds. Your partner doubled that. It then goes 2 diamonds from South. Okay, so 1 no trump double for penalties, 2 clubs by North, which is alerted as a transfer to diamonds, double from your partner, and then 2 diamonds from South. So a bit to think about there. You know, we can't choose our opponent's conventions. So your opponents are playing what are called exit transfers. And so the 2 club bid there is an escape bid, but it's not showing clubs. It's promising diamonds. Your partner doubled it, and then it goes 2 diamonds. And so you've got to decide what to do. So good luck with that one. Have a little look. Hope you enjoyed it today. Keep preempting, please, and do send in some examples, particularly when they go wrong. No, particularly when they go right. And I will see some of you throughout the week. We're going to do our beginners bit now. Remember, we are not on next Monday. Okay, we're not on next Monday. There will be a bidding quiz, which you can see online, so you can always look at there'll be a we will post the bidding quiz, so you can tap on that, see my question, and then look at the answer. Well done, Nadine, who's won our prize quiz. That's exciting. All right, let's go to the I've got to find the right button. I've forgotten the button here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to the beginners. So so do hang on if you want to, or move away. So we are doing Stayman today. So let's see what that means. So we are going to look at Stayman, and we're still responding to 1 no trump. So let's go to it. Responding to 1 no trump, what we talked about was with 2 balanced hands, surely you want to be in 3 no trumps. if you've got the strength for game. The problem is we found that if we've got 4 cards in the major between us, so sorry, in both hands, so if I've got 4 hearts and you've got 4 hearts, we'd usually prefer to choose that as trumps. And it's, I mean, how on earth do we find that out? So how do you find a fit? You're going to use a convention, and we mentioned this last week. So we looked at this hand and we said if we were playing mini bridge, we would add up the points and we'd say, well, I've got 14 points and I've got 13. That's 27 points. There's enough for game. And I think I love hearts. So I'm going to go for game in hearts. So playing mini bridge, you would end up playing 4 hearts. However, we're not playing mini bridge anymore. We're not allowed to see each other's cards. So it goes 1 no trump opening bid and I've got to respond. Now, without any conventions, I would bid 3 no trumps because I have a balanced hand, you have a balanced hand, and I know we've got the strength for game. East has 13 high card points and West has shown 12 to 14. Don't forget the important definition of those no trump bids. Okay, so how do we get to the right contract? Let's have a look. We are going to use a convention, and the way I liken this to in language is like an irregular verb. There's certain things you have to know. I mean, let's be honest, the verb to be in any language is chaos. Anybody who's learned any languages, I don't know many languages, but I am trying, but the verb to be in pretty much every language in the world is chaotic because it's used so much. I guess it just gets, I don't know, changed around or whatever. And so you have to know it, you have to learn it. And there's lots of others, the verb to have often and various others. You have to learn the whole of it. In bridge, in the language, there are certain unusual bids that we need, or we feel we need, and you have to learn them, I'm afraid. And you've got to learn what they mean, but also when they come up. And that's the tricky bit, because 2 clubs obviously can come up in all sorts of auctions. But when your partner has opened 1 no trump and it goes pass from your opponent, a 2 club bid from you is going to be used as an artificial bid. Partner, I am not showing you clubs. I would like to ask you if you have a 4 card major. Okay, so we agree between us before we play. Now, to be fair, if generally in bridge, if you sat down with someone and never discussed what you were playing, most people would assume that you were playing Stayman because it is a part of standard bridge. Okay, so a lot of the things I might teach you, other people will be taught different things. The strength of your no trump opening bid, for example. Other people play other strengths. Okay, but this 2 club bid is pretty much unanimously played around the world. Okay, so 1 no trump from me. You bid 2 clubs. You asked me if I've got a 4 card major. So we've got to have a system of responses, and they're pretty obvious. Well, the 2 heart and 2 spades bids are obvious, I hope. They're going to show that you do have 4 cards in that major. But of course we've got to have a negative bid which says I don't, and that's 2 diamonds. So the lowest bid in response to 2 clubs says, partner, I don't have a 4 card major. As we're going to see, that means that the person who bids Stayman 2 clubs has to have a plan. And that's what you will find with all conventions. There's no point just bringing it out of a box and using it. You've got to have a plan with it. Okay, so the 2 club responder, as it were, to 1 no trump will make another bid over 2 diamonds, as we'll see. 2 hearts says I've got 4 hearts, and 2 spades says I've got 4 spades. You'll notice there's another bit to that one though. It says but not 4 hearts. Why does it say that? Well, the idea is if you've got both majors, you bid 2 hearts. Okay, so if you have both, you start with 2 hearts. It doesn't show both, but it just leaves a bit more room. Does that make sense? Okay, so 2 spades says I've got 4 spades, but not 4 hearts. 2 hearts says I have 4 hearts. I might have 4 spades as well, partner, but I definitely have 4 hearts. Okay, so let's look at it happening. So this is the hand you've just seen, the one that we use mini bridge to get to 4 hearts. Let's see what happens if we use Stayman. 1 no trump. East thinks to himself, well, I'm going to go for game. I'm going to use this Stayman bid because if we've got a fit in one of those majors, I want to play in one of those majors. So he bids 2 clubs. His partner bids 2 hearts. Doesn't say anything about his strength. He's already said 12 to 14. He just says, I've got 4 hearts. That's all it says. And then East jumps to 4 hearts. Okay, because he knows they've got a fit. They love hearts as trumps. Let's go for it. And 4 hearts is very comfortable. You're only likely to lose a couple of clubs. Whereas in no trumps, of course, they could take all of their club tricks, couldn't they? So let's try again. I've given you 14 points again. You open 1 no trump. Your partner bids 2 clubs. What do you fancy this time? Well, this time, of course, you have not got a 4-card major. So you bid 2 diamonds. Now, you happen to have length in diamonds, but you are not showing that. 2 diamonds is part of the convention. So again, it is another unnatural bid. Your partner's 2 club bid did not show anything in clubs. He could have a void in clubs. Your 2 diamonds does not show anything in diamonds. Of course, you'll always have 2 because you've shown a balanced hand with your opening bid, but you don't have to have length. It just says, partner, I do not have a 4-card major. Okay, so there's the hand. You've already seen that. 13 points. I was checking to see if we've got a fit partner. We haven't, so I'm just going to bid 3 no trumps. Can you see? So East had a plan. He knew game was on. He's got 13 points. He had a plan and carried out. Now we will see the East hand, the Stayman bidder, make a plan next week. Okay, let's look at one more. 1 no trump from you, 2 clubs from your partner. You've got both majors this time. What are you going to bid? Well, hopefully you will remember the system. If you've got 4 hearts, you always bid 2 hearts. You're not saying you haven't got 4 spades, you're just saying you've got 4 hearts. Remember, if you choose 2 spades, you're saying I do not have 4 hearts. Okay, so 2 hearts, I've got 4 hearts, partner. And again, we just bid 4 hearts because we've got a fit. Okay, so that's lovely. So that's a system that you have learnt. Okay, and we will go further into it over the next couple of weeks. So as I say, when you choose to bid Stayman, you'll have a plan, and this is what we're going to look at next week. You'll have 11 or more points and at least 1 4-card major. Because why on earth would you ask your partner if he's got 4 unless you've got 4? Because if you've only got 3 and 2 in the majors, you're not interested. So you might just jump to 3 no trumps. Okay, so you're planning what you do. So for example, if I had 11 points, I'd be thinking, oh, there's a chance for game. I could just bid 1 no trump, 2 no trumps. But no, I'm going to see if partner's got a 4-card major first. So we're going to look at that next week. Okay, so really tricky element of being a beginner is the steps that we take with these irregular verbs, as it were. Basically, things that you have to learn. I love natural bidding. I love teaching natural bidding. But there are a few things that it's important that we use as unnatural because they are played universally in the game of bridge. And so I'm afraid to say that's just part of the learning process. So we'll be visiting it over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Remember, we are not live next week. So it'll be in 2 weeks' time that we'll see Stayman coming up again. Hope you enjoyed that one and see you again soon.